Welcome back to another episode of Cooking with Love. I pray you guys are having a super amazing Thursday. Thankful Thursday to some. So surprise, I'm finally cooking greens. I don't know what's going on with my sweater. Anyway, so I'm finally cooking greens. Now, I will say this. My recipe is kind of a couple of recipes pulled together. I just started cooking greens last year because I've always been a fan of like when other people cook stuff that's always easier. So what I did was I bought some smoked pork gile, and I think that's kind of like the jawbone, but you don't have to use pork if you don't like to. I just like the flavor it gives. Not an avid pork eater, but I do like the flavor it gives my greens. So what I did was just I bought it, I cut it up into small pieces. I'm going to show you in a second, but I'm telling you what I did first. I put some water in my pot. I'm using my really big pot. I put water in there, and then I also put, let me show you guys. I put some crushed red pepper flakes. Hello, welcome. And then I put some of my Tonys. You guys know I love this stuff. And then I also put some of that in there. This is chicken soup base. So you don't have to use this, but you need to flavor it. And this has been cooking for probably about 30 minutes. At first I had it up kind of high, and then I turned it down kind of low. And basically what you're doing is seasoning your water. You want it to have some flavor, some taste with your greens. So what I have been doing was buying glory greens in the bag. I would buy like 6 bags of those. Hello, welcome, great afternoon. Thank you for sharing. And so I would buy the glory greens in the bag. I would buy like 6 bags. And of course, like, don't be fooled, like some of it you have to throw away because the store has been sitting there. But I went to the Meyer and they didn't have like any at the one I went to. I went to one further away from where close to the one I live. So I went there and I'm like, so all they had was the kind that you have to clean and rip up yourself. So we leaders adjust. So bought them, cleaned them, pulled the stems off. This is what we have here. They are not evenly cut like glory greens, so it doesn't matter. It's all going in the stomach anyway. So I'm going to show you guys what my pot looks like before I put the greens in so you guys can see. Like again, I said, you don't have to use pork. You can use whatever type of smoked meat you like. If you are vegan and you're cooking greens, you can use vegetable stock and like really season. And I'm not sure if they have like fake chicken flavor for vegans or not, but if you guys try it out, if you guys have some vegan greens recipes, let me know how they turn out. They might be good. I'm not there yet, and I don't know if I ever want to be, so I'm just gonna be honest. But so this is what my pot looks like. So I cut them up. So the smoked pork jowl comes about that long, about that wide, and so I just cut it. Hello, welcome. I cut it long ways, and then I cut it into smaller pieces. So that's what my pot is looking like as of right now. I'm gonna put this back so I can plug my phone back in. I was not properly prepared. It's funny, you guys, I was not gonna record at all, and I was like, you know what? Why not? So to kind of speed up the process, I did all this first, and now I'm going to put the greens in. So I also have the bowl on the plate because the eye was on. So all I'm going to do is just begin to put my greens in there. Like I said, normally I cook a lot more than this. Like normally it's in about 2 bowls because they all can't fit. But it should be kind of pretty close to how much I normally, actually it does kind of look like it. And I don't know if you guys listen, so this is like a put together recipe because I got some from my aunt and my niece's, Jesus, what am I talking about? My daughter's aunt makes really good greens, and so I kind of stole some of her recipe. And so she was the first person I ever known and heard and said they put coriander and cumin in there, and I'm like, it was really, 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 really good. So I adapted that to my recipe when I started making it. Oh, and also I do put onion in there. I'm not I'm not fully weird with onions, but I like them. but I don't like them to be overpowering. And then it depends on the texture of them when they cook. If it's like sauteed to the T, as much as possible. If it feels like, and I'm like that with red onion, but if it's a yellow onion or a sweet onion, I don't kind of like that slipperiness of it sometimes. Like, it has to have really good flavor for me to be like, oh yeah, that's fine. So I'm not using a whole onion. I'm not even using a half of onion. Maybe, I guess you can say like a quarter. So I have that here. You guys can see I'm not going to use a whole lot. Again, it's to taste. If you like a whole lot, then do you. And so I'm going to put that in there. Kind of going to try and put that down in the bottom. And you can, you know, if you don't like using Tony's, I'm not going to ask you what's wrong with you because, you know, no judgment, but you should be using Tony's. I use that on everything. It's funny because I keep seeing the Red Hot commercial, and it's like an alien with an astronaut, and it's like, yes, I put that on everything. And I'm like, that's how I am with my Tony's. I literally use it on everything. And uh-oh, I dropped the spoon. It is good. I'm cooking greens. Collard greens, to be specific. I have not personally cooked any other greens. Just collard greens. So if you've cooked different ones, I've ate all greens. I don't know if any of you follow Aduxie, who is Ludacris's wife. She has an Instagram page. Well, mostly everybody has an Instagram page. But she's Gabonese, and she cooks, what are they called? There's something greens. They're not collard greens. I can't think of the name of it right now, but I was like literally trying to find them, and I could not find them anywhere. And I'm like, Lord, I pray one day. Like, I've always sent little messages on her little Insta stories and like in her feed. I'm like, please, if you don't even do a cookbook, just do a quick tutorial, even on Instagram, because I'm like, her greens look so amazing. I want to know how she cooks them. Like, and she cooks them down, I guess you can say. It's just, I don't know, it's good. But every African green I've ever had has been amazing. Like, if you guys got some recipes, you know, I'm here to try them, please. Because my father used to work with a man who's Nigerian, and those, oh my gosh, those are some awesome greens. They were nice and spicy. I like the heat, you guys. Ooh. I breathed that in too strong. But I'm just putting a little bit of that on top. And like I said, I use coriander. So I'm going to put that on there. And then I'm going to let that cook down some and then put some more. You know what? I'm just going to grab my wooden spoon and kind of move this over a little bit. And again, if you don't like coriander, don't use it. But I will say, try a little bit first. Just, you know, try it and see how you like it. And then I'm also going to use cumin. I do not have a lot left, as you can see. This is one of my favorites. And sometimes, depending on how I'm feeling, I'll put just a little bit of curry powder. I know some people are like, what? That's weird. But it's okay. Everything gets to taste. If you don't like it, don't use it. But I will say, sometimes you never know what your palate is missing until you try it. And again, I put some crushed red pepper flakes in there. Hello, welcome. And you don't have to use a lot of this, of course, depending on if your palate can take the heat. I love curry too. Isn't it amazing? So what I'm going to do is turn my eye up to medium. And so another thing that I do that I have up here is I have some white vinegar. And so after it starts cooking down, I'll put this in there. If it still tastes like really bitter or sour, I'll put maybe about a tablespoon of that in there. I'll taste my green juice again and kind of see how it's going. And if it's fine, then I won't put any more of that in there. And sometimes I will add maybe like a tablespoon of sugar if it's just like way too much. But I don't do sugary greens. That's a no-no for me personally. I'm making greens, collard greens to be specific, and I'm gonna put this on top and let it cook. Now I will say this. I do not like greens that are like, God bless me. I don't know where that probably came from this season, but I don't know where that came from. But I do not like greens that are like soppy. They don't have any texture. I love my greens that have texture. So these are not going to be cooking all evening long until the night hour. Like, no, I might do more medium for maybe. I'm going to try and time it because I never time it. But I think it's maybe like an hour. Maybe hour 30. I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to time it because what time is it? I just put those in. It's 3:28 where I am. So we're going to see how long this takes. But for those just joining, I'm cooking collard greens. I use some soup base. I use some smoked pork gile that I cut up in there. Put those in there. Maybe y'all pieces about that big. Let the water simmer with that, and also with some crushed red pepper flakes. Not too much because, of course, initially you don't want it to be too hot. I mean, granted, you can add water later, but you don't want to affect the flavoring of your juice. And then I put some Tonys in there. I cut up my greens. I use actual greens on the stem this time. I do normally use glory greens, in the bag, and then clean those and put those. I use about normally 6 bags. Hello, welcome. But so this time I just got about 6 bundles. They were on sale like $1 or something. So I got those. And then I seasoned also with some coriander and some cumin. And again, I came back with the Tonys. And I also cut up some onion, is it yellow onion I have or white onion? Yellow onion. And I put that in here. So this is going to cook. Like I said, it shouldn't be more than an hour and a half. I've never fully timed it, but I don't like soggy grains. So we just put that, it's just me here. I just put that in there so you guys can see what that looks. I'll bring it a little closer so you guys can see. But yeah, that's what we got so far. And then, hello, welcome. And again, this pot is really big, so I have it on 2 eyes. So it's on medium right now. And like I said, I'm going to time it. We're going to come back and see what it's looking like. I might do so it might be 3 parts. Just so you guys can see the middle, And again, before you put your greens in, remember to taste your water, your base, and make sure it tastes how you want it to taste. I have no idea. I kind of stole this from my dad. He wasn't using it. I cooked gumbo in it, and I never took it back. So, but I think it's a Mercer pot. I'm not sure. After it's cleaned out, I'll make sure I mention it on the next episode. So make sure you're watching that. Or I might put it on my YouTube channel when I upload it, because by that time, the pot will be cleaned out. But yeah, so yeah. Stay tuned, guys. I'll be back a little bit later to show you guys the update. So, and then how's everyone doing? I didn't even talk to you all. How's your Thankful Thursday? What's my YouTube is Monique Gigi. So MoniqueGigi. Yes, clean as you go. It's very important. That's what I'll be doing while the video is, while I'm not on Periscope, but yeah. We're going great. Glad to hear you all are great. Isn't it, I've just been in this place of thankfulness and just being appreciative for all God is. I don't know what the heck I did to my shirt, but it looks really weird. But anyway, so yeah, God is just good. Awesome. I'm glad your day is fine. God is just so amazing. And I think we have to remember, even when things aren't going our way, to just be like, you know what? I don't have to be here. Things could be a whole lot worse. Let me just give God the glory and praise for where things are now. First God, family business. Awesome. Very true. God should be coming first in everything that we do. So, that's a very key element to living a peaceful life, Because a lot of times things can happen and we're freaking out and we're like, oh, but where was God in it? Did you even thank him this morning for waking you up, And that's a big thing, I will say when I was younger, I definitely was like, oh yeah, thank God, but not really being in a place of mindfulness of being like, you know what, God, I'm really truly going to give you, the first part of my day. And, and just really having a heart of thankfulness and not just being lip service to God, Because a lot of times we could say all the right stuff, but, You know, is it really in our heart, and is it really a part of who we are? You know, because a lot of times we Christians, we go to church and it's not really in us to really serve him and put him first and do all the things that we should be doing, you know. And it's like, yeah, praise him, I want to do it, but like, do you really know that he will do it? And do you really, you know, can you testify to that of, you know, how good he really is, and versus just, yeah, I'm just saying it just to, you know, that's what everyone's saying. Yeah, I know he's good, but like, do you really believe it within you? Because when you go through something, are you really going to be in that same mindset of like, I know God is going to work this out? Or are you going to be like, man, this is jacked up. I can't believe God put me through this. I was like, hold up. Don't be talking about my daddy like that. Like, he's awesome, you know? And what, you know, we also have to be self-reflective and think, what have I done to kind of put myself in this situation? If you're honest with yourself, you know, what decisions have I made? And if it's no fault of your own, great. If it is, be self-reflective and acknowledging the mistakes that we've made, because we all have made some mistakes. You know, we all have done some stuff that we shouldn't have, and it's so easy to blame the devil on your bad behavior. I'll be the first to say I've definitely done it. Oh, the devil just, Yeah, it's like, excuse me, did nobody tell you to go over there? Did nobody tell you to have those friends? I told you. And it's funny because a lot of times God will be telling us, like, hey, listen, I'm trying to get your attention, and it'll come from different people, random people you haven't talked to in years, and they're like, I don't really think those are people you should be hanging out with. I'm like, no, I got this. You know, she's like, they just hating. You know, that's our favorite thing to say. Oh, they're hating on me, or whatever it is, or however, you know, you want to justify what they're saying about you. And it's like, no, you know, God has the most amazing things in store for us, but you know, sometimes we block those things ourselves, and we have to be honest. Like, really, even if you don't tell nobody else, have a sit down and talk to God, and really have a one-on-one, and be real with yourself about some of the things that you've accepted into your life, the things you welcome that are nothing but chaos and confusion. And it's like, whoa, wait a minute now, like, maybe I shouldn't have done that. You know, maybe I need to go make some things right and allow God to change my heart and allow him to help me out of this. Because obviously, if you ain't got yourself in some mess, you probably can't figure out how to get yourself out, you know? So it's, you know, it's a process of trusting God and allowing him to grow us up in him. Wow. See, he will turn it around. He will definitely turn it around. It's amazing to see God work, you know? I had to be real with myself. It was some areas I thought I was so humble and blah, blah, blah. And it was like, no, God had to really humble me in some ways that I'm like, oh my gosh, like, Jesus, was I that bad? It's like, yeah, you're pretty arrogant. And for what reason, you know? But God, if you allow him, he'll deal with the heart of it. You know, he'll deal with the root issue. He'll deal with the dirt that you don't want anybody to see. But in reality, you need to let somebody see it, because you never know how what you've been through can encourage someone else. When I was younger in high school, back in the day, I really had this kind of arrogant behavior of being rude to people who, you know, I just felt like, and I don't want to use the word beneath me, and I was very kind to those who I felt like didn't have anything. But if I felt like you were like coming at me in some type of way, it's not nice at all. And for those, if anyone sees this who I ever hurt in life, I am so sorry. I'm a different person. God has changed me, you know, and I am so sorry for the things that I've said or done to you that may have hurt you in the past, because it was not right. It was not nice. And I was not always a nice person to people. But God, you know, and also acknowledging, you know, the dirt that you've done. If there's some people in your past who you know you can go and apologize to, do it. You know, even if you just send a card, or, you know, if you can say something and you know that it may help that person heal, or just I'm sorry. You know, it's crazy. I'll say this real quick before I get off, because it's getting a little long and then we got to come back. But when I was younger, I was living in Jacksonville, and, you know, you're young, and I think I was like 20 at the time. Was I 20? Yeah, I think I was like 20. And I was with my play sisters, and, you know, you just talk, and, you know, sometimes what does it say? The abundance of the heart, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. And so it was this young lady who we saw. Did I see someone or was I just saying it? I think I saw someone while we were out. And I was like, ooh, they got a baby before they're married? Ooh, that ain't gonna ever be me. Be careful of what you say. Please. Be mindful of the words that you say. You never know how you may have to eat that later, how, you know, it will come back to bite you in the behind, and be quick not to judge. Hello, welcome. It wasn't until, I didn't even remember saying it at all until I was pregnant with my daughter in my apartment alone on the phone with my play mom and my sisters who I said that in front of. And as we were sitting on the phone and she was telling them I was pregnant because I was embarrassed to tell them. And I was sitting there and instantly the Holy Spirit just brought it back to me. And I was like, like almost began crying even though nobody knew what was going on. You know, God was speaking to me and I was just like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe that I said that. You know, of course you grow and you mature and, you know, God deals with you. But I was just like, oh my gosh, how could I have said such a hurtful thing? But you got to think about it, the mindset you may have been in the past. I'm going to turn this down just a little bit. And not being in a place to really be conscientious about others and what they may be going through. And my sisters both had one child at the time. And, you know, the spirit of conviction just came on me and I was just like, oh my gosh. And it wasn't until I threw, you know, all of us got on the phone. I was talking to my play mom, Miss Nicole. And I was just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I said that. And she was like, well, you know, apologize. And of course, within myself, first I had to repent to the Lord. And I was just like, God, I'm so sorry, you know, that I was ever in that mind frame, you know, to judge someone. And, oh, that'll never be me because I had friends before. Oh, I don't want to ever be a statistic and who, da-da-da-da. And that's not going to be me. A team, no kids. Be careful of what you speak, what you say to others, what you say about others. You never know. All of us are a situation away from doing the same thing someone else is doing. You know, all it takes is the right situation for you to be high just like everybody else on drugs and, you know, just whatever the situation is that you say, oh, I'll never do that. That ain't gonna be me or whatever it is. You never know. You know, you could be disobedient in one area and all hell break loose. And it's like, oh my gosh, what is going on? You know, how did I end up here? And a lot of people who are on drugs or whatever the case may be in their lives, you know, 10 kids, they didn't know that was going to happen. And it's like, you never know. You never know. And so I want to encourage all of us to be more mindful of not passing judgment on to others because you never know what happened in someone's life for them to end up where they are. You know, and those 10 kids that girl has could be a blessing. It could have saved her from killing herself. You know, you never know. And so one thing that I did after, you know, of course I repented is I called my sisters and I apologized. And it was years later that I think it's been like 3 times. And she's like, you apologized for that already. And I'm like, I did? You know, and I didn't even remember, but it's another level of growth God wanted me to come into of acknowledging it in a different way and me being in another level of maturity and acknowledging the stuff that I've said. You know, now I'm quick to be like, you just never know what someone's going through. You know, that's my mindset now and not being like, ooh, why are they doing this? Or, you see that? Because at any point, any of those situations can be all of us, you know, and so we have to have a mindset of, you know, wanting to be helpful to others versus passing judgment and you're this and you're that and hello, welcome. You know, so I just encourage us all, you know, it is a daily walk because if you've been like that your whole life, it is something relearning not to be judgmental and to be more helpful, you know, when it comes to others and encouraging, you know, because it is not the end of the world if you have a child before marriage. Granted, God does want us to wait. You know, that is the best thing to do. That is the way to honor him in that. But for those of us that haven't, you know, it can be a process of, you know, getting over the hump of, oh my gosh, I did this terrible thing, but I have this beautiful blessing that now I must take care of, you know, and rear and grow and help them learn and become this amazing adult. And prayerfully they don't make the same mistakes that I've made. And not that in a sense that they're a mistake, but they're the result of something I did that I shouldn't, but they are a beautiful blessing, you know. So I just encourage us all to, you know, not be judgmental and to be grateful for where you are, but also to be mindful of be, you know, encouraging to others that may be going through something, and it could be the hardest time of their life, you know, but that hardest time of their life could have saved them from something much worse, you know. So, and I know people who were planning to commit suicide and they found out they were pregnant. It's like, oh my gosh, like I have reason now, you know, or whatever it is that may be going on in someone's life. You know, I know people who've come out of, God has blessed them to come out of years of drug addiction, you know, and some people like, I could never be me out, you know, but you never know. And we have to be mindful to pray for those. You know, you see people posting things on social media, the negative stuff, that is your cue as a believer to pray for them. You know, I feel like it's no excuse if you see someone going through it or they're posting their personal business and, you know, it may be something a little sketchy or whatever the case is, I feel like as a believer it's our obligation to pray for those people. You know, if it's your cousin in them, it's your friend in them, or, you know, a friend of a friend, whoever it is, or even especially the celebrities out here who, you know, you see going through stuff and, you know, we all be on the shade room. You know, like I feel it's an obligation to pray for them. You know, you never know. They could be, the stuff they're doing could be a cry for help. You know, they could want to, you know, really get to know God better, but they could be feeling like they're stuck or whatever it is. But I just encourage us all to, you know, to be a help, even in prayer, even if you don't say anything to the people going through it because you don't know how to approach them. And if you've done something wrong to someone, I encourage you to make it right. You know, speak up. Hey, I'm sorry. Even if you can't verbalize it, text it. At least that's better than saying absolutely nothing, you know. So I'm done with my little talk right now. I'm gonna check the greens again. And so it's my little messed up one. Okay, so they're looking pretty good, but I'll be back in a few to show you guys what they look like. All right, thank you all for joining me. I'll be back to show you the update, and I pray you guys have an amazing day. Remember to reach out to someone who may be going through it or needs your help. My pot bag, Jesus help me, a pot. All right, well, I love you guys, and I'll see you soon. Thank you. Bye.